Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us with today. So let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Hina. I am managing sales and marketing at myCloudDoor for MEA region. Along with me today, we have Clydo Donnellis, our senior cloud solution architect, who will be guiding us through today's session. So let's just quickly look into the agenda before I delve into a brief introduction about myCloudDoor. So, yes, uh, we have Clyro will be leading the session and he'll be focusing on how we can protect the data and systems from cyber threats. And he will also provide us an overview of Microsoft Entra solution. Followed by that, Clyro will also demonstrate Microsoft Entra Live, showcasing how it will be a valuable asset in securing your organization. And then finally, we will open up for a Q&A session where you can just ask your questions and clear your doubts right away. So yeah, let me just give you a brief introduction about who we are. We are formed over a decade in the USA. Since we have expanded to operate in 10 countries across Americas, Europe, and MEA, we have a dedicated team of 200 employees, boosting over 20 years of IT experience and 8 years in the cloud. We excel in supporting clients on their journey to the cloud. Our expertise lies in executing seamless migration projects and delivering managed cloud services backed up by 24/7 support. So we also take the pride in achieving notable milestones, such as being among the first 10 global companies to attain SAP on Azure Advanced Specialization. Additionally, we hold a position in the top 5 partners for Azure Stack. So our approaches combines with Microsoft solutions with our highly skilled and certified expertise, agile and reliable methodologies, and automated tools developed in-house and sourced from a top-notch partners in the industry. So this synergy allows us to deliver seamless, cutting-edge solutions that drive success for our clients. Thank you so much. So I'll just hand the floor to Clyro to kickstart our session. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hina. Hello,
You're
guys.
welcome.
My name is Clyde. As Hina told, I am security and infrastructure cloud solution at myCloudDoor. And today we start to talking about Microsoft Entra and how Microsoft Entra can help people, your companies in the security, in protecting data and protecting your environments. So I like to start with numbers because we have, in my point of view, in my old experience, we have two ways to can purchase IT security components, or we have numbers, or we have real attacks. So for now, I prefer to keep it with the numbers and not with the real attacks. So Microsoft customers achieve two for 200, 240% of return on investments over 3 years in the payback in less than 6 months with Microsoft Entra. How, because Microsoft Entra is totally using more advanced technology for securing the process of the authentication, authorization, and access the information. So Microsoft Entra can reduce the time with, for example, analyzing the false positives. We can reduce the time with the cost of the real attack and things like that. So you can have using the Microsoft Entra 240% of high over 3 years. As I said, Microsoft Entra reduced the likelihood of a security breach by 20%. This numbers is from Microsoft. If you want to see in the portal of the product, Microsoft is telling that the Entra is helping the companies and reducing the security breach because we have new tools. We have the older tools for data protection, data governance, but we have another tools that Microsoft has been buying in the market in the last years, and with the investment that Microsoft is doing for the security part inside the Azure and the Microsoft 365, and how the investment, how the assertive that Microsoft use working with security. Microsoft can improve the productivity because right now, if you remember, we have a lot of appliances for identity inside the Microsoft. So the technicals, the engineers who is developing identity systems and data solutions needs to drop from one portal to another one. So right now it's everything in one place. So it's more easily, we can more assertive products. So we can reduce the false positives. So Microsoft Entra is helping to improve the productivity in 13 hours per year for each user. For example, reducing the process of the authentications, doing the process of the authentication more seamless and secure as possible. And the Microsoft has increased the development speed for the Entra. So Entra is a total priority for Microsoft because it's the front line of defense. In zero trust model, you need to protect how the users, how the customers, how the partners are getting the authorization, the authentication authorization inside our tenants. So we have a hack increasingly index that need to be protected. So with the new era, with the new age that we are presencing now, we have more challenges for that because we have more data, we have more system, we have more information, we have our business is growing faster with the digital transformation. So just, of course, it's increasingly the volume of data that needs to be managed and protected. Nowadays, we have kind of more than 1,000 password attacks every second in the world. If your company is doing protection of identity just with password, is doing wrongly right now, because password is not more the effective than we have. It was I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. Even with a multi-factor authentication, with a second factor authentication, we are seeing the attacks. So if you are just doing password as a security process, it's not the recommend. You need to improve. You need to add more information. You need to add more conditional for can authorize and can give and authorize the access inside your environment. Imagine 1,000 passwords attacks every second is maybe it's 100 million per day. Password breach replay attacks reach 5.8 billion, if I'm not mistaken, per month for the last security CIO result. While phishing attacks and password spray attacks surged in 31 million and 5 million per month, respectively. So because that we need to increase, we need to reinforce, we need to improve our security process during the authentication and access frameworks. We have the diversity of the access scenario across the organization and the supply chain. So you have a lot of ways to access our solution. We have partners that need to access our solution. We have customer that needs to have access our solution. So we have a lot of users, not just internal users, not just employees, but partners, but customers and whatever other users that your business needs. So you need to protect this user also. But this is a challenge doing the protection of third-party system because it's not covered by your policies, it's not covered by your security teams, it's covered by other security teams. So you need to have a tooling that can give access, can secure this access, doing the correct authorization for this user, but the user outside for your organization. So because that Entra has a portfolio of product that helps you to do that. And the digital landscape, you have the increasingly necessary robust protection measure, as I said, because right now we have regulations for data private, security implications. We have apps, we have applications that, whether on or off the corporate network, require secure access to prevent breach. We have the hybrid work, multi-cloud environments demands, both seamless flexibility and strong security that we need to provide, involving data privacy and security regulation and complexity that I mentioned. So we have a lot of necessities to using a good and strong system of identities. So let's keep it. So Microsoft started that in 2000 with the directory services, but Microsoft has improved a lot. So right now in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft is the first access control plane inside the cloud computing. So we have more conditionals to giving the access. Microsoft has, as I said in the first slide, Microsoft has invested a lot of money in security. So create a lot process using more intelligence, more artificial intelligence, more machine learning automation to help the companies can reach the identity protection that they need in the market right now. So we have, and it's not just simple things because you need to we need to care about the human identities. We need to care about the workload identities, service principal accounts that we use for scripting, for automations, accounts that we use for automating application, things like that. You need to provide security during the process of the authentication and authorization. We have the customers that we need to provide the security for access our environment. We need to provide security for partners, and we need to provide security for devices also. So we have a lot of identities types that we need to provide. So Entra helps with intelligence, artificial and machine learning automation with more than trillions of security signals to granularize this access and giving the better user experience for the user to have access in the information that you need. Can be your data, can be your SaaS application inside the Microsoft or outside Microsoft environment, can be your multi-cloud, can be your on-premise authentication. So what is Microsoft Entra? Micro is a multi-cloud management solution landscape, and we have different types of managed solution. We can protect and verify every identity, implementing a consistent security policies for every user, employees, frontline workers, customer partners, as well as applications, devices, and workloads. So we can put all the identity types that you have in your company inside this umbrella and protecting every identity. That is not every identity. It's not matter if it's a human identity or it's our cloud system identity. We do the protection is the same level with the same conditionals if possible. If not possible, we have Microsoft Entra has many processes that can analyze this kind of account and this kind of access and reveal the access and give it or removing the access if not necessary. Simplify the user experience. And for me, Microsoft Entra, this is the best because I have working with data protection a lot of time. So when I need to go in the conditional access, it's one portal. When I need to go in the MFA, it's another portal. If I need to go, for example, in data loss prevention protection, in another portal. So too many portals to do simple things. So take a lot of time to configuring, to monitoring, to see, because it's different things in different places. So Microsoft Enter arrange everything in the same portal. It's entra.microsoft.com. Security access to any app of resource from anywhere. Taking advantage in the network of adaptive identity access controls to security access to any app or resource for every user or digital workload across the entire environment. So you can use the Intune classifications, Intune policies. You can use conditional access. You can use conditional access is many conditionals to grant the access. You have the identity governance to do that, and so you can secure the access for any app, for any resource, wherever the resource is placed in the cloud, on-prem. Okay. Uh, and providing the only access necessary, discover the high size permission, manage the access lifecycle, and ensure less privileged access for identity. If for example, if the user has a permission and this permission is not used, for example, in 90 days, so Entra has automation flow, lifecycle flow that can remove this permission because this user is not using this permission. So it's not important has this permission granted in 90 days. So in case the user needs to use this permission, the user can request this permission when necessary using the automation and using the lifecycle workflow that I will show you guys. What is the Microsoft Entra product family? We have the Microsoft Entra ID, is the formerly Azure Active Directory. So you can use for manage and protect the users, applications, or workloads and device. It's not new, it's the same of the Azure Active Directory, but with some increments. We have the Microsoft Entra ID governance. If you remember, is the identity governance in the portal. So the product is remain the same, but with new features that you can use for improve the control of the access. For example, since I own user self-service management and automate lifecycle workflows. We have Microsoft Entra External ID. Is providing your customer and partners with security access to any application. This is more related with Azure B2C and Azure B2B. Azure business to customer, Azure business to business. So it's the way that you can federate your organization with your customer or with your partner, for example. You can use in many providers of authentication, for example, Facebook, for example, Google, to when you need to apply a new customer user, for example, using the Gmail or using the customer Facebook account or using the customer, I don't know, another account. You manage this access using Entra External ID. We have Microsoft Entra Verify ID. It's a new. It's a former. If you're not mistaken, if I'm not wrong, it's former Azure AD verifiable ID. But right now, with a new face, with new features, and you can use a lot for helping you in the process. The Verify ID as a multi-factor authentication. I will show you one example of that with Microsoft provide. And so you can see how it's good for the company. You can create the ID, the Verify ID specific for a company and things like that. But we are talking more about that in the next slides. We have Microsoft Entra Permission Management. It's a KIEM. It's a cloud. It's a KIEM system to manage net permission across your multi-cloud infrastructure. Okay. If who knows Cloud Notes, permission management is the older CloudNox permission management. If I'm not wrong, in 2021, Microsoft acquired the CloudNox. And so still in that time, still using CloudNox as a name, but last year changed the name for Microsoft Entra Permission Management. It's the acronym for EPM system from Microsoft. And we have the Microsoft Entra Cloud ID. It's a one product just for specific for services, security, helping application and service to security access cloud resources. So you can use this part just for your service principal accounts, your accounts that your application used to give access, your scripts and automations and things like that. So you can apply security levels for authentication authorization using the workload IDs. Okay, so but Microsoft has new things. Has new features. Microsoft Entra moves for all the few. For example, Microsoft Entra Internet Access. So you can secure the access to all internet resources and software as a service in Microsoft 365 applications with an identity-centric security web gateway, SWG solution. So extend your conditional access with network conditionals. You can have more conditionals to allow this access, modernize your network security, and improve your security and visibility for Microsoft 365 access. In the same way, you have the Microsoft Entra Private Access. It's a Microsoft Entra Edge that you can use for access your applications and Microsoft 365 without VPN necessity. So built in Zero Trust principle, Microsoft has focused right now everything using the Trust Fabric model, goes outside the development team just looking for security. Built on Zero Trust principles, Microsoft Private Access helps remove risks while boosting user productivity. Quickly and securely connect users from any device and any network to private applications on-premise and across any cloud. So you can modernize your private access with identity-centric zero trust network approach, prevent breaches with the conditional access controls, and ensure the security of granular in application level. So let's start with Microsoft Entra ID. As I said, is the oldest Azure Active Directory, helping organization protect access to resources using strong authentication, real-time, risk-based adaptive access policies without compromising user experience. Here we are talking about the part of the authorization, authentication, and the access management service. Microsoft Entra ID enables your employees access external or internal resources, such as Microsoft 365, Azure Portal, and thousands of other solution and SaaS applications using your own directory service. For example, one examples of the features that you find in the Entra ID, all the part of the application management authentication process, Microsoft Entra ID for developers. This is very new feature, is very interesting too. Business to business, B2B and B2C authentication process, conditional access, identity governance, protection with Defender for Identity, domain servers, and others. And inside this Entra ID, you can make your secure adaptive access, MFA, using the machine lock blocking the takeover. There is a seamless user experience, sync sign, sorry. Microsoft Entra self-service password reset, passwordless. So this is the features that you can using in the Microsoft Entra ID. Is the activity director that we know but with the extra features that can help us. For example, in the part of the conditional access, I said, in the part of the FMFA, I said, to configure security, the identity and access manager inside our environment. We have Microsoft ID governance is the part of that you need to security and employee productivity with the right process and the visibility. It provides you capability to ensure that the right people have the right access in the right resource. So Microsoft Entra ID with ID governance is in the same package of the enterprise mobility and security features. What is the good points, the key features for me for the Microsoft Entra governance? Improve productivity. You can find everything so easy in the only portal. We'll automate the employee, supplier, and the business partner access to apps and service to enterprise scale. So you can create automation workflows that create this access for your partners, for your employees, for your business, for your app. We have Microsoft ID governance can automate this process up to and include real-time approval. So if you, for example, if you have access in your portal, Azure portal, for example, a Cosmos DB, and you just need to development team has access with the approval of the management of the team leader. So you can create this workflow inside the Microsoft Entra ID governance, and so the user the developer can access the site, can go to the approval for the management, can go to the approval, I don't know, for the data officer from company, and receive this approval and has this access for a while, for 1, 2, 3 hours, for a specific date, or never if you want. I not recommend, but we have the option. So you can make your security more strongly using Entra ID governance. You can reduce the risks arising the access abuse and make a smart access decision. You can use inside the Entra ID governance is privilege managed identity and access review. And you can automate routine tasks for doing this process that I mentioned. Let me show. If you see here, in the portal, we have the identity governance. We have the dashboard that you can see with the information. We have the entitlement management, where you can create, for example, a new pack for access, put a name, specific what, test. I don't have the permissions here, but you can ask, you can add the resource roles, make who is the requesters, who is the approval for this request, what information, what you need for approval that. So you can use a short test field. You can use a multiple choice for doing that. A life cycle, as I said, if this access page will be available for this group of the users for 1 hour, 2 hours, I don't know, 1 day, for never expire and things like that. So you can associate that a specific AD group and associate this group in the permissions of the Cosmos DB. So when the developer go in access, myaccess.microsoft.com. Here, will be available the package that his user has, and he can make a request and can see if the request was approved or not, can see your historical approve. Who will be the approver? Access the same portal, but will be the approver here for For example, this developer has a team leader needs to approve this access. So here from the team leader portal, team leader, you see the request and can approve or not. Okay. So identity here again. So Microsoft Identity ID governance help the company and the teams to create more automated process to giving permissions, temporary permissions or definitive permissions for the users, for the workloads, for the application and the resources. Microsoft external ID, as I said in the product family, is refer all the ways that you can securely interact with users outside of your organization. For example, if you want to collaborate with partner distributors, suppliers, vendors, you can share your resources and define how your internal users can access external organizations. So with external ID, external users can bring their own identities to your company to access the systems in your company. Whereas they have a corporate or governmental issue digital identity, or for example, an unmanaged social identity like Google or Facebook, as I said. So the good part for the key features for me for the external ID is security part and customer access, define the right level access, govern the life cycles, establish effective access control for customer and partners. Create people-centric experience, design easily, intuitive sync up and sync in experience for the customer and the partners with the proper portal. We have a custom portal. I will show an example of the portal in the Verify ID, so you can check that. We have accelerated development, make easily for the app development teams to embed identity security for any application and any customer experience. It's a seamless experience for bringing your own identity to user to connect. So this portal is very interesting when you need to create the relationship, the federation between your company and your partners to avoid to create access, unsecurity access using the traditional way. So Verify ID. Verify ID, as I said, is the, if I'm not mistaken, is the Azure ID verifiable credential, the older service that you can use, for example, driver license, facility ID cards to as a factor of the authentication. You can verify the credential combines with the cryptographic and distributed network to verify claims about a given subject. User owns their verified credentials and they can disclose claim selective as a, I don't know, social security enrollment, for example. Entra Verified is not different. It's in the back end, in the IDOS is a decentralized identity. So we have, as I said, it's a formula that Azure Active Directory verifiable credentials is standard, is based on decentralized data system, W3C, decentralized identifiers, verifiable credentials, is based on decentralized identity foundation using a security-based REST APIs and protocols in the market, for example, OpenID connector. So the Entra Verified ID has the participation of 3 parties in the verifiable credentials interaction. One is Verify. It's one organization that requests the proof of the intent, and up the recipient verifies that credential. Individual receives and approves for the request for credentials obtained from an issuer and presents in the Verify. The credential claims are cryptographically signed with the user private key. And the user is an organization that attests to an identity claim and grants the digital credential to the user. But how it works? Let's show here. We have here the Contoso University. Okay, I will make my login. My login is C Dornelis. The password is this one. I can make my login. The first step that I need to retrieve and save my identity. So I use my Microsoft Authentication. If you have the Microsoft Authentication, is the part of the Verify ID that you have in your application. So I read the QR code. Yes, I'm reading the QR code in my telephone. I make the verify here. Now I can add my Verify ID in my wallet inside my phone. So I'm doing that right now. Okay, I have concluded the step with my own identity verified identity. In this case, is my university card, University Contoso student card. So I can access the portal and I can validate my access again with my data that I have added. And I can select and log in that. I just not finished the login here. Let me do it again. Yes, now I'm finished. I'm sharing my credential ID that I have. And right now I have the onboarding. So I can enter in the Contoso University using, for example, my own student ID as a verified identification process. So if, for example, I want to use into my, I don't know, one application inside my company website, I can go here and scan again my verify ID. Will you ask me my PIN? You insert my PIN here. You add my student transcript, and so I have access. So this is how the Verify ID it's helping your companies to verify in identities using, I don't know, for example, the the company ID as a factor for validation of the credential, as we are shown here. So oh my gosh, I have a little bit time. I'll be a little later. So we have the Microsoft Entra Permissions Management is the former Knox Cloud Knox Permission Manager. It's a KIEM, it's a Cloud Infrastructure Entitlement Management. So you can use for scan for detecting automatically right size and continually monitor your unused and excessive permissions in AWS and GCP. As I said, Microsoft EPM, it's a cloud infrastructure, it's a KIEM specialized in data-centric SaaS solution, focus on managed cloud access risks that provide comprehensive visibility into the permissions align all identities. So you can use in your cloud, you can use in your applications and in your products. Okay. So what's the process? Is a continuous monitor and hide sizing data to prevent a privilege creep. So first thing, discover. Can access permission risks by evaluating to the gap between permissions granted and permissions used. For discovery, they are cruising cross-cloud permissions discovery, permissions creep index. It's aggregating method that periodically evaluates the level of the risks associated with the number of unused and excessive permissions across your identities. And of course, a permission user analysis that you make a multi-dimensional view of permission systems for all identities and resources. After that, we have the remediate. It's automation deletion of permissions and uses for the past 9 days and permissions on demand. Grant data permissions on demand for a time period as need basis. And monitor. And the important thing is monitoring that using to detect anomalous activities with machine learning powered with ML, with machine learning. As I said in the first, with more than trillions of the signals. But let's show here how to the KM system is here. I use the only product. I use the product from the interactive from Microsoft that you can show. So you can see. So the first thing that we have in the, if you see here, it's changing the name of the portal, but keeping the CloudNox permission. If you know CloudNox permission, is the same product. Microsoft acquired this and joined in the Microsoft Entra products. So we have here the dashboard with, for example, permissions that we can see the permission script index. We can filter by cloud, for example, GCP, Azure. We can see the number of the identities. We can see how many alerts, high, low, medium, or low we have. We can see these graphs. We can see more visible these graphs. Okay. We can see our highest permission creep index. Here below, we can see the finds for identity and the resource. Okay, I will make faster because we are late. So here we can see the provisional, the authorization systems. We can see the users. You can see the permissions used, the permissions granted, the PCI, the permissions creepy index here. So we can stand that for user. We can see the behavior of the user. We can track the tasks. We can see the roles, the activity for this user. We can manage the permissions. Okay, we can see based that, for example, in the containers, in storage account, we can protect your data. We can filter by users. Okay, we can see the behavior of the user groups, the user roles. We can make that the filtering by roles. So we have many filters that you can extract. For example, here we can create a role, a specific role for Azure. We are saying that test performed in the last 9 days, and select the users, select the actions. We can see the JSON actions and the script. If you want running this manually, you can download the JSON and the script and run that. Here we can create request access for resources for roles. For example, let's go to do with Amazon. We can create for this identity. For Megan Bowen, for example, the user, we can request the policy. In this case, it's administer, it's Alexa for business full access. We can create we need to make a request summary. We can say how many times we need to do this request and schedule. Okay, we can do this daily, weekly, monthly, or once. And you can create the request, and we can approve, and the administrator, the approver, can approve the request or deny. Here in the autopilots is all the process of the automation. We can automation delete a user roles, remove permissions for a user application, and things like that. In audit, you can query any search that you need for getting the information that you need. It's a query. You just need to run the queries, and you can see all the tasks. Here we have the part of the reports that you can see the reports. Reports are very complete, are very interesting, that you can make a summary about that. We can create alerts also based in activity, rules based in anomaly. For example, let's create one first time access. So any research that access for the first time, so we can select the organization, we can make the interval, and we can see here our alerts, and we can see the tasks, the resources, and the notice that the alert was triggered. So we can create a statistical anomaly. Also, we have many options that we can do, and permission analytics also we can create using the multi-cloud systems with the according the triggers that we have for each cloud. So this is the part. Sorry to do faster because I lost my time. So right here. So the last point of this category, this product is Microsoft Entra Cloud Database. As I said, uh, humans user typically have a single identity used to access broad range of resources. Unlike a woman research, our softwares, our applications, our automations, workloads may deal with multiple credential, the security access multiple credentials to access different resources, and those credentials need to be stored securely. So Microsoft and our cloud identities provide a way to use that for without password. For example, if you are familiar with GitHub Actions, we can use that. We can create an application inside the Entra Cloud identities for the GitHub Actions with the right permissions. And in the actions, we just need to authentication using, for example, the tenant, the client ID, and the subscription that we need to have access, and you don't need to pass any secret and anything like that. So we can use our applications, our automations without secretless to authentication and getting access in our structure. We can, using secure access with adaptive policies, we can apply conditional access for this workload also as a user. We can simplify the life cycle of this access. And of course, we can monitor and detect risks if there is threat and reduce risks to workload identities using Microsoft Entra ID protection. Okay, so let's go here almost in the end. So we have Microsoft Internet Access. Microsoft Internet Access and Microsoft Internet Private Access right now are in preview, so you can test, but it's not recommended to use for production. But I believe if you have the right permissions, right license, you can navigate and using this product. But I need to let you guys know that it is in preview right now. Okay, it's not in general availability. So Microsoft Entra Internet Access, it's a kind of Microsoft Security Service Edge solution. So it's a global security access. You can extend your conditional access. For example, if you see here in the main screen, you can extend your conditional access for your network. So you can put more conditionals for allowing this access for your application or SaaS and your resources inside the organization against internet threats, malicious network traffic, and unsafe, non-compliant content with identity center using a security web gateway. For me, the best features for the internet access that I have tried is, of course, is prevent the stolen tokens, because I can apply more conditional access. I can use more items to filter this access and granting this access. The risks, Entra Internet Access improved a lot the risks assessments for using location device, so I can see my users, where they are authentication, where the exact location, what the device they are using. So I have more information about this access, even when they are not inside the company. And as I said, I can modernize my network security. I can extend all the protections and integrate cloud applications against token thief, and ensure users do not bypass network security policy specific to their tenants, allowing access critical cloud services. Okay. So Microsoft Entra Private Access, as as I said in the internet, is the same. It's in preview. It's not in general availability. Using the, as I said, using the service edge location, you can access your applications, your 365 applications using a client. You just need to download your clients from the portal. This client will connect with your structure and using a private tunnel. It's kind of a VPN, but you don't need to use a VPN provider as Palo Alto or other solution for VPN. So you can use Microsoft Enterprise. Oh, sorry. You can use Microsoft Enterprise provide private access to getting access using the global access solution for Microsoft. So here we have, as I said in the first slide, here we have all the mesh from Microsoft, analyzing this traffic, analyzing, understand how this behavior is a machine learning, artificial intelligence, applying your conditional access, doing the evaluation in dedicated tunnels, because this application that you install in your machine for private access, you create a dedicated tunnel with this meshes, the global access solution from Microsoft. So it's provided for your identities and points, remote networks, applying, as I said, evaluation, your conditional access, using all the Microsoft Global Private Area Network, include the part of the intelligence for the security scanning, using the dedicated tunnels in getting access in your environment, multi-cloud, your corporate network, your web apps, remote desktops, SSH for the management, Samba, FTP, ERP, printers, and other resources using this mesh here, this network, this global perimeter that is protected and managed by Microsoft with the Microsoft Security Service Edge, SSE solution for Microsoft. So here you can apply your policies, your governance. Here you can have your access, and here Microsoft is protecting this information using the behavior analytics with the machine learning, artificial intelligence. So is that. Sorry for the time. I believe that I was very important to talk about Microsoft Entra because I like this product. Let me check if I have any questions here. We don't have questions in the QA. But if you have a question, if you have a doubt, you can reach us using our email that in the here. Let me change the slide because we need to see the email here. Just send the email for us. My director, Jose Rensor, or myself, we can answer, we can address your doubts and getting the best enlightenment about the subject for you.
Thank you, Clairo, for sharing such a informative presentation.
I believe that there is a question asking if he can receive this material, just download this material.
Yes, there is a question. Yeah.
You can use as I show you have any in our products in all the products of the Microsoft Entra, you have a way to management your hybrid environment. For example, multi-cloud, your on-premise clouds, in your verified ID process, in your permissions process. So Microsoft create the Entra. It's more multi-cloud system and hybrid system than one system that you can just manage Microsoft. Of course, you have more options with Microsoft because it's the same vendor for the Azure and the Microsoft 365 apps. But you can use the system and integrating with your hybrid environment using the applications enterprise. Microsoft has maybe, I don't know the number, but has a lot of enterprise applications that you can use. So has application for example, on-prem SAP has application for Salesforce, has a lot of enterprise applications that you can use to integrate your hybrid scenario, and you can create your own enterprise application for connect your hybrid environment with Microsoft Entra and start to using all the security tooling from this amazing product. I believe we don't have more questions, right?
Yes, that was the only question we had.
But as I said, people, if you have any question that you didn't make here and you want to make a send us email, we can talk, we can explain better, we can show more details of product and how this product can help your company. Us from myCloudDoor are here to help you boost security and efficiency in your company.